All right, thank you for coming to my meeting. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here today as we look at our 7th grade literacy analysis. We are going to look at 2 pieces of data, the overall and the spring 2025 Beacon data, and I have sent you the Excel files so you'll be able to reference those as we go through. So to begin, I just want to remind you of our meeting goal. We are reviewing that data and we will then determine our direction for intervention for quarter 4. What should we do as we prepare for the milestones? As a reminder of our SIP goal, the percent of students scoring proficient and distinguished will increase from 44.85%, which is 369 students, to 49.85%, which is 411 students, as measured by the 24-25 ELA milestones. Okay. So, this is where we were in winter. I want to pull this back up so we can take a look at this. So we have our prepared at 27.52%, near target at 47.67%, and support needed at 24.81. So that's where we were in winter, and then this is the school overall. Okay, so here is spring, after we took our spring. We actually increased here to 38.71%. prepared, which was great. Our near target dropped a little bit to 44.76%, but look at our support needed. We were at 16.53% when originally we were at 24.81%. So what we were doing, it actually paid off. So we have decreased that number and increased our prepared number. All right, so the spreadsheets that I have sent you, I have 2 of them. This is my newest creation, and I kind of went down a rabbit hole with this one. I took what Ms. Arnold had provided us with everyone's data for fall, winter, and spring, and I've combined it into one where you can go through and analyze it. Unfortunately, I couldn't figure out, because I'm not an Excel expert, how to get fall, winter, and spring in order, so it's like that. But fall is blue, winter is green, and spring is this pinkish purple color. You will notice for their overall scale scores, everybody starts in green for their fall score. If their score went up for winter, it stayed green. If their score went up for spring, it stayed green. However, if their score had a decrease either in winter or spring, it is yellow. So we know that is a student that needs to be targeted. And it's very fascinating because you can go through and you can see that we do have a lot of kids who actually showed increases each time we took the Beacon. So, and those are kids all over the board. So I'll give you a second, you can look at that. And then also if you go down on, well, go across on the spreadsheet, you will see where I have also classified their areas. If you go across here, where it's got all the key ideas and details, vocab, and you will see that as well. Or maybe that's on the other one. Actually, go back to the ones I sent you, because I sent you 3 different ones. It is, let's see, yes, I think it's that one. Assessment needs, yes. So if you go to the one marked assessment needs, you will see, if you scroll to the end where all the different areas are, everything highlighted, let's see, I've highlighted everything in green is prepared, yellow is near target, and blue, oh, did I reverse it? Okay, sorry about that.
Blue is near target.
Blue is near target, okay. Blue is near target, and yellow is needs support. So that's what I use to determine where our weakest categories are. And that is for everything that's on the Beacon. All right, any questions about that? I'll give you a few minutes to look over that and see if you. So it was really interesting. You go through some, and there's a ton of yellow.
these three.
Mm-hmm.
One of those three.
Yeah, I know that was the interesting thing.
convention.
Yes. Any questions? Anything you notice, point out?
There's a lot of kids that are prepared in research.
Yes,
It's just
yes,
shocking.
very shocking,
Very shocking.
because usually I think that's one of the weakest ones.
Yeah.
And one that surprised me was vocab acquisition. I was very surprised on that one,
They were good.
that they were, yes, either prepared or near target.
Mhm.
And maybe that was from what we did in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that had to be it when we had them in those groups. Alright, so we've got the overall data spreadsheet, you've got that one with the needs, and then you have this one where we had identified each student and their needs 1 and 2, okay? So we've got those. Alright, so in looking at all this, when I went down that rabbit hole, here are some things that I picked out for us to focus on. We had an 11.19% increase in prepared from winter to spring. And then we had that 8.29% decrease in needs support. So both of those are great. And then here are a couple of things that jumped out at me. So I was curious, how many student scores actually went down? So I went through, we had 75 students whose scores decreased from fall to winter. So that was at the second week of August to December. But then look at the number from winter to spring. We had 102. And I know Ms. Griffin and I had discussed a couple of them because they were some AC students. And so those could be outliers because maybe they're just, you know, they're tired of testing and they really don't care. And they don't care what intervention group they're placed in. And of those 102 students that decreased, 34 of those were prepared students. I think all of them are still prepared. I think one dropped to near target. So in some of these jumps, we had one that was like 150 points. It was a significant.
Something that's not even actually possible.
That they jump or they
No, to
decrease.
decrease.
Yeah.
Oh, you said a jump.
No, he decreased.
Yeah, that's like not even actually.
Yeah, he
I
just
thought-
he didn't care.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
that Beacon though was supposed to get harder.
It does.
So
It does. The threshold changes.
does that have anything to do with what we're looking at though? Because
I actually
It's a good
think the
question.
winter one was the one that had the higher threshold,
Mm-hmm.
and then it levels a little bit back out for spring.
okay, for spring. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think that they took their time on it.
I don't think so either.
I think some of them
Mm-hmm.
went through and clicked answers and they are regretting that because they are now in lower level
Great.
intervention levels
Right.
and they're learning at the
Mhm.
basic,
Right.
and it's a waste of their time.
Which we
Not a
told
waste
them.
of their time, but I don't wanna say a waste
No,
of
we
their
I
time.
told
know
them.
what you- yeah.
But
this
it's-
is what's.
But it's not in where they really need
It's
help.
not where they
Yeah.
need
No,
help.
no. And I
Where they need the
proctored that exam too, so I watched them take it,
Yeah.
and I could see who is, you know,
But
Tune
you
it
know
out.
that we did have that jump, and
mhm.
most of those will pull it back together for milestones.
Okay.
Yes, they'll
I
take that
agree.
seriously.
I
So
do.
if those go back up,
We'll have a larger jump.
Yes.
plus we've got that,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
we're in really good shape.
Yes, we are.
For meeting the goal.
Yes.
Surpassing the goal.
So, well, yeah, surpassing.
We could, that might meet the goal for the whole
The
school.
school,
yeah.
It might,
Yeah.
it might, fingers crossed, that would
Yeah.
be great if we did. So from here, I then took a look at our top 3 areas and our bottom 3 areas. And that's what you can see on that spreadsheet when you move over, where everything's broken down into blue, yellow, or green. So our top 3 areas, and I was shocked,
Yeah, that is
writing,
crazy. Uh-oh.
writing, because remember this, we haven't had any, there's no actual writing practice on the Beacon, but apparently that's our top area. That's our top area, followed by informational text and then vocab acquisition.
I
Surprising
think
again.
the informational text helps us out because social studies reads a lot of informational
Yes.
text, and they're
Yes.
getting a lot of informational text and
It's not-
I think so.
in science and
Mhm.
social studies.
And then our bottom 3, the bottom was conventions, and we've known that one
Mhm.
since the dawn of time, I think.
Mhm.
And then research, not shocked by that one. And then the third was key ideas and details. I was a little
Yeah.
surprised by that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was a little surprised because I would think of all of these, we focus on that in most of our day-to-day activities. So, and then the next, the next lowest one after key ideas was literary text. Maybe because we've had so much informational text,
They don't get it.
they don't
They
get the
don't.
literary text, yes.
Yeah.
And then it followed by craft and structure and text types and purposes. So I found that very fascinating, and that's when I said, oh, I need to step away before I go any further and break this down anymore. But it was really interesting, and I'm not a numbers person. So any questions about that? And I'll send you this PowerPoint afterwards too, so you can refer
And
to
Miss
that.
Hamlet needs that.
Yes, yes. And then I have a sticky where I rank them all as well. All right, so then where do we go from here? That's what we've got to figure out. Which one of these do we want to be our key focus for the remainder of our intervention time? So some things that I've come up with, and we've discussed these before as well. We have our instructional supports through Beacon, okay? We've got those, and the great thing, we've got our standards, they've got the actual instructional supports. There are activities there that we can do. There's actually one on summarizing a text, and this will go back to what we were doing at the beginning of the year because we've been working on summarizing. And then I know there are some strategies that Ms. Griffin and I used in our Skilled Teachers Build Skilled Readers workshops as well. So we've got tons of things we can do for that if we want to hone in on some of our intervention groups. Also, we've got through IXL, and that, of course, we've got our literary text here, and they have passages from Anne of Green Gables that the kids can go through and work on, and A Night to Remember. And there is a Milestones ELA for 7th grade. I use that in the 6th grade. We do skill review every week, and I've seen progress in it. I've seen progress, and then I've seen some that haven't done anything. And then we have No Red Ink. So even though we were high in writing, I don't know, that one scares me. I just feel like maybe that one's not spot on, but we have the activities that we could go through for grade 7. We've got the,
Really good things.
yes, the constructive response, the extended response. And then the other thing to keep in mind though is this will be different next year when we get the new standards. Because on the milestones, they will no longer be doing this, they will be doing a peer review instead. But this will be a great idea. All right, so questions, suggestions, and concerns. Of the 3, this is what I really want to know. Which would you prefer to focus on? What do you think?
I don't know, that literary, the key ideas and details of literary text, cause we know that's gonna.
It's like, where can we get the most bang for our
I
buck?
know. Conventions?
Also conventions, because
Conventions?
I saw a lot of the ones that even could be 4s, and it's conventions.
That's holding them.
They
Yes.
would have like really high everything, and conventions would be like
Mhm.
200.
So does
And it's
No
more
Red
than that.
Ink bring in the convention practice, the
Mhm.
No Red Ink? Okay,
Mhm.
so yeah,
Yeah.
conventions.
And we see that a lot with the AC kids, a lot.
Yeah.
Even with the 6th grade AC kids I have.
Yeah,
They
It's
just
the
have,
same.
they just, bless their hearts, they just
they
haven't had
just
them.
haven't had it. So what is our timeline as far as we come back from spring break? Are we still with our ELA groups, or are we going to math?
Math.
Have they gotten those groups together?
Yes, the groups are together. I don't think they're gonna be in synergy, I think they're gonna have to check in with us and go to their math,
Okay, and so they'll be with math for a week,
2 weeks.
2 weeks, and then we'll get them back.
For how long does that give us until they test?
We don't test until May 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that gives us,
That gives us a good solid 2 weeks.
that gives us a week. If they get
A
them 2
week.
weeks, we
Yeah.
get them a week
A
before
week.
testing.
So we
Okay.
just do conventions.
And we
Mhm.
need, and maybe we do like conventions Fridays.
In
In the
class.
classroom?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Mhm. That's
While
a good
they're
idea.
doing math, let's
Uh-huh.
just make sure every week we take a day,
And
Yeah.
do
Y'all wanna do
conventions.
that?
Yeah,
I like
conventions
that.
on Fridays. Yes.
I mean, I do.
or whatever day y'all wanna do.
Like on
Yeah.
Wednesdays, we do Word Study Wednesday in
Okay.
class, like just to give them a little
Mhm.
play on words, but we
Mhm.
work on vocab, but I can switch that to conventions on Wednesday too if I
Mhm.
need
We
to.
can tackle them hard.
Just
Yeah.
one day a week, we definitely drag them out, Tom. Okay.
And I think with what we're doing right now with our reading and Tangerine, that's gonna tie into our key ideas and
And
I
details.
do.
and the literary
And the
text.
literary
I
text.
think so too, yeah.
All right,
So that should,
okay, sounds like we've got a plan. All right, anybody
Awesome.
have questions?
no, this is great, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy schedule, because I know we are crunched for planning right now, to be here today.
We
You're a fabulous audience. All right, Ms. Naiman, would you get the
Sure thing.
turn this off, please?
Sure thing.